Hey guys, it's Danny Bell. I hope y'all are doing amazing. We are back on our Wintercore island Polarbelle, and today I wanted to do a special ideas video with you guys. We're gonna do 15 winter beach ideas. Because y'all, the struggle is real, and if you're anything like me, I really have a hard time coming up with design ideas for my beaches on any of my islands. So even though we will be talking about winter beach ideas, any one of these ideas can definitely be changed up a little bit to sort of go with whatever season you're working on your current island. Without any further delay, let's jump in and get going. The first beach idea on today's video is a natural campout site. This is a really popular design idea, I think, in our Animal Crossing community, and I think sitting areas in general, personally, tend to be very popular, especially for beach areas. One of the things that makes decorating beaches, in my opinion, so incredibly difficult in the game is that we can't terraform on the beaches, and that really limits our decorating abilities. So I think using whatever items you have in your storage and sort of maximizing your ability to fill in the area with a few items, and including also some natural items like this wheat field, I think really is the game changer for choosing on how to decorate your beaches. I think whether you go with a natural aesthetic or you create a building of some kind on the area, using items to your best ability, differentiating with the height, like with this windmill here and the kids' tent as well as the cushions, you can sort of see a graduating movement downward in size. I think just creates a really nice eye appeal for this type of design. And I think the fact that we have a lot of this custom design of this beautiful dirt path really makes a huge difference into the design. And by the way, for all of these ideas, I'll be sure to put in the description of the video all of the custom design codes for you guys. All right, next we have a warming bonfire. So if you have created a cold weather island in Animal Crossing New Horizons, I guarantee that most of us have at least once tried to create a little space, a cozy little area with a fire for our villagers to hang out and rest. I decided to create this space because it's on the corner of the beach and it perfectly aligns with one of our favorite villagers, Bam. He has a cute little ice hockey rink. Speaking of which, if you have not checked out that build video and you're looking for ideas for villager yards, please check that one out. But anyways, this little area, I really liked how it came together because it fills in this space nicely. We've used this ice pond pathing here on the beach itself to sort of fill it in, and then used a lot of different hodgepodge seating items like this log sofa, bench, and the retro transportation station I think works really well for this little warming area. Next on the list is just a simple seating area. I think that a lot of times we overthink the beaches, whether you decide to just plant a bunch of flowers and place some trees, just like this decayed tree that we've used here on the beach. I think little things like that, even if they're just a natural sprig of things, can really add a lot. Doing a little sitting area like this picnic on the rock, I think can really add a lot to a beach area, especially the vertical beaches tend to be especially difficult to decorate on your island. So using, again, a lot of different custom designs like this faded gingham and the little floral pattern to create a differentiation on the rock itself really adds a lot of detail to these flatter areas on your island like the beaches and the rocks. So whether it be something like this that's kind of cozy and floral and pretty, or something more natural like the wheat fields and the decayed tree with a few pops of fencing like we have here, any of those things I think kind of working together can really create a nice space for your beaches. That way you're not feeling like you're leaving them completely empty or untouched or neglected on your islands. I added a few little things here like some planted flowers along the area, as well as, again, some more custom path and some glowing moss. Next on the list is a rustic farm. Never underestimate the ability to infuse a secondary theme into your beaches. I think that this is a great way to create little micro areas on your island. For instance, Polarbelle is a Wintercore style island. It's mostly natural, lots of snow and winter type of builds, but I do love all of the amazing farm core items in the game, and so thoughtfully using some of these rustic items like the windmill and these transportation stops sandwiched together can create a nice little tool shed area here on the beach that is sort of a secondary theme in your beach area on your island. We've also created this cute woodshed. I really love this. I love these storefront items. So if you haven't gotten your hands on this item yet, please keep checking at your cranny because they do change up daily, and I was able to thankfully score this storefront item there at the store. Using simple panels with the cute little logs on it, I think can make a nice little convincing wood chopping area. And again, just using a lot of custom designs like this winter wooden board and things like that to sort of fill in the beach, I think really make it a convincing little area than just a plain blank space on your island. All in all, I'm really happy with this came together. You can even add a little workbench here to make it a useful area as well. All right, next on the list, we have penguin habitat. So guys, I had to. This has been such a huge trend in the Animal Crossing community. I completely adore these little penguins. These are little dresses, and like I said, I will put the pro design information for the code in the description of the video for you guys, but this has been such a super cute item. Lots of super creative ways that people in the Animal Crossing community have used this. I really love that this particular build has sort of added to the rock space as well on the island, using the cave and then any other little things like the flowers and the rocks. And again, the glowing moss I think really does add a lot in the winter time to a build like this. And then adding things like this little gyroid, y'all, I couldn't help it. I had to add the Brustoid here. He just really, to me, looks like a tiny baby penguin chirping next to all of his friends, and I couldn't resist it. But just being able to use this theme on both ends of the vertical beach I think is really great. It just goes to show that you can create a uniform space with your beaches and just kind of make it a theme all throughout the beaches to kind of do something like this and bring it all together on each side. Next on the list, we have an abandoned secret beach. Now, we don't want to forget our secret beach. I know that oftentimes this is such a tiny little space that a lot of creators will just ignore it or bury it behind 3 layers of cliffs. In this particular case, I knew going into Polarbelle that I was not going to be upgrading the museum. Therefore, red never does appear, sadly, on Polarbelle. So in this case, I don't have to have accessibility to Red's ship when it visits. So because of that, it made this space a lot more fun to decorate because I don't have to leave any walkway space. Next on the list is a rustic dock. This one is just a simple little design. I love the glowing boulders. I feel like I use them all throughout Polarbelle, but I really love them. Again, using little things like these penguins here and there, some of the frozen fencing, just using a few little pieces of fencing here and there, especially on the vertical beaches, I think can really add a lot to a design. And things like the placeable trees, like this decayed tree in the white version, I think are perfectly beautiful for winter. But like I said, a lot of these ideas can be easily translated simply by changing out the season, changing out the patterns, doing it just a little bit different color palette, and you can still use a lot of these concepts and transition them into the next season of your island. All right, a mini picnic spot is next on the list. Don't forget to give some love to the tiny little nooks and crannies on your beach. This is such a tiny little spot, y'all. I think all in all, it's probably 9 squares altogether. And I just love how this tiny little space still has a cute little sitting area and adds a lot to the beach when you can show some love to those spaces. Also, just doing a tiny little nature patch, I think, in another small area by using the garden bunny and the duck decoy can really add a lot, just trying to kind of focus on the natural aspect. Next on the list is Lighthouse Point. I love this lighthouse item. I think this is something that we've all obsessed over at one point or another in Animal Crossing New Horizons. It was definitely the go-to item I wanted when I first started the game, and I saved up a ton of Nook miles to get it back in the day. But just using something like this with a little bit of decking and some wheat field, and then maybe just a tiny little sitting space can add a lot to your beaches. All right, next we also have this cute little boat launch. I love this. Okay, so if you're able to find the perfect pattern for water, my suggestion would be find a custom design pattern on the portal that you can use that is either a river or a pond, ocean, something of that nature, putting little spots on your beaches of the water and then placing items like this yacht on top, I think can add a really great multi-dimensional style for your designs on your island. And something like this that isn't a very big spot can really add a huge point on your island that people are really excited to see when they come visit. All right, rounding it off here, we have a rustic shopping district. Now this area is pretty large, so I'm going to show you a few different designs here in this space on Polarbelle. I was really excited to again be able to use this snowy dock and then even being able to sort of incorporate the pier itself into this design, just giving a little bit of attention to Captain and putting a few different custom designs down on the pier here I think can really add a lot. But just all in all, with this huge section of beach, I feel like there's a major opportunity to be able to place buildings or houses on the beach itself. So you can see with this island, I did opt to keep Nook's Cranny in the rustic form, which I really was happy that I did this. It definitely goes with the aesthetic of the island, but the main point was I was able to fill in this huge space of beach on the corner very easily with the cranny, as well as putting the Abel sisters directly next door and sort of creating a strip of a rustic shopping district here on Polarbelle. I was really happy with how this came together, and you can see with the use of these custom designs how you can very much make a convincing little area here for your villagers to shop at. And What is Yoni doing here? She's literally walking on water, y'all. It's a miracle. But as you can see behind me, we have a little entrance spot as well as a bait and tackle shop, just using things like the storefronts as well as the pergolas in the game can really add a lot to a build. So creating smaller little buildings with these storefronts and just using things like the brick oven over here to create a firewood station, and then redesigning Able Sisters. I do love the Able Sisters building. It's, in my opinion, the prettiest building in the standalone buildings on Animal Crossing New Horizons, but I had kind of grown tired of it just simply being a clothing store, so I kind of opted in this situation to use some of these canned good store shelves just to kind of make it look like a more of a convenience store, more of a multi-purpose sort of area to kind of tie it into this rustic shopping district. But of course, use your creativity. Just because we have the Cranny and Able Sisters in the museum doesn't mean that you have to represent them that way on your islands. If you have a different theme, turn them into something else. Turn the museum into a castle. Turn the museum into a temple, a hidden temple if you have a tropical type of island. There's endless possibilities on how you can repurpose these standalone buildings other than just a shopping district, but I'm really happy with how this came together. Okay, next on the list, and finally not least, is this Ice House convenience store. I adore this. Now, obviously, if you're not playing in the winter time, you could take this concept and do something completely different. I love the idea of using a villager house on the beach. I think that using a villager house on the beach can be really great, another great way to really fill in the areas. And I know that we tend to kind of hyper-focus on creating different villager neighborhoods, things like that can be very fun to create in the game, but I love how this little house here on the beach fills in this space perfectly and affords us to be able to create a cute little space that definitely incorporates the beach into the main parts of the island. Instead of just keeping your beaches separate from the whole rest of your decor on your island, consider kind of branching out your design to kind of spill over into the rest of the island design. Doing things like this cute little, I don't know what you call it, like a snow plow using the glowing boulder, as well as this, what do you call this, a bulldozer, I guess? Anyways, I love it. It's perfectly cute, and I think that doing something like this on your island can for sure fill in your beach area quickly and easily and look spectacular. Alright guys, well that's about all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that any of these ideas brought you a little bit of inspiration on how you can deck out your beaches for the winter time on Animal Crossing New Horizons. I really have been having a complete blast working through Polarbelle with you guys. It's nearly finished and I'll be doing the Dream Address release here shortly. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Just as a reminder, you can find me on Instagram at Peppy Crossing Play, so don't forget to give me a like and a follow there. And if you enjoy this type of content, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you aren't already. Thank you so much for watching. Wishing y'all an amazing day. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.